How's it going? Thralls of Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
And I'm Jammin John.
And we have a review for you, one we alluded to in a previous video.
Indeed.
Tomb Mold with their new album, Planetary Clairvoyance, out on 20 Bucks Spin, comes out Friday.
We have it already.
We already had it. We got it at the show.
Yep.
Fucking awesome show, by the way. I think we pretty much riffed on that enough.
I think so. I think we told everybody how awesome that show was and how jealous you should be that you weren't there. But hopefully you went because the tour is still going on.
Definitely go. But anyway, this band formed in Toronto in 2015 and have been putting out steadily work every single year since their inception. This is their third full length in 3 years, and it's fucking incredible. Once again, I think these guys are just one of the busiest bands out there, but they're also very creative.
Yes, which definitely shows on this album. In fact, the first track right out of the gate.
Yeah, Beg for Life definitely sets the pace for the album, has a cool, slow intro, and then instantly into just pummeling death metal.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because this is a touch more melodic this time. There's more catchy melodies. There's a nice little acoustic break in the middle of the song.
Yes, there is.
And then it kind of leads in with the drums, and of course, their frontman / drummers, token deep roar of a growl.
Yes, he has a very deep, reminds me a lot of Frank from Suffocation.
Yeah.
So.
It's a cool, slow build of a song, but it has a lot of cool, intense moments, and once again, like, melodies really play a lot of part on this album in general. Lots of cool dissonant melodies. The lead work, I think, has stepped up.
The lead work has stepped up as far as the dissonant melodies are concerned. It definitely comes out in their live shows, and I think on this album, I think they could have stood to maybe have turned up the guitars just a cunt hair, because you couldn't really, in my opinion, you couldn't hear the dissonance as well as you can live, and I think that's such a good thing for their sound to have that. It's something that makes them very unique as far as their style of death metal. So
I mean, the guitar tone is just heavy as well. It's like, definitely reminds me of bands like Autopsy, not just because the drummer's also the frontman, but they have that kind of gritty, old school death metal aesthetic, like the really early sound mixed with a more modern sound, like somewhere like Autopsy meets Suffocation and Death. And maybe Incantation as well.
Pretty much.
It's a nice little fucking blender of awesome heavy shit. And it really shows off in the title track, which is the next track, opening up with a very Suffocation-esque sort of riff, and then just going full fucking bore into this song.
Well, I just want to comment again, the drummer being the vocalist. I always try to, when I listen to Tomb Mold now, I try to remember that the drummer is the vocalist, and when I listen to the songs, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a cool drum beat, and then I hear somebody sing over it, and you're like, hey, usually bands have a frontman, so you don't think about it, but he really does play a lot of complex beats to be able to growl at a different time signature, to be able to sing at a different time signature versus what he's playing on the drums. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah, and perpetually busy drummer too. Like, you watch this guy, he is doing all sorts of shit at the same time, and dude, like this guy, when he was thanking the crowd when we saw him, he was practically gasping. And
he plays on such a small kit, and to get those kind of rhythms out of such a small kit shows another definite stream of talent. So
100%. Another cool thing, they actually squeezed in one interlude I really like.
I do too.
I generally skip over interludes, but this one was kind of like in a creepy sci-fi horror vibe, which definitely fits with the album's cover. It's just fucking amazing.
Yeah, and it plays so well with the mood of the record, coming out of the second song and then leading into the fourth song. It's really evenly sandwiched in there, and they really did it well, because normally I'm not an interlude fan either. I skip over them. But, like Job for a Cowboy's Genesis, and how that record's just littered with them, and normally I skip those tracks. But this was well done.
Honestly, one of my favorite tracks was one of the first ones released. Actually, it might have been the second one released.
I think it was the second one.
The second one, Accelerative Phenomena. That album...
That's one of my favorite jams on the album, by far.
That song gets stuck in my head all the time. Opening up with that super catchy riff. It's probably one of the most distinct riffs on that album, too.
Well, and then incorporating the riff from the interlude. It's in there. I think it's in the chorus, if you would call it the chorus. I think that's where it is.
I think it actually comes up in the end, because, in between the song, tons of different movements, but they all transition really well.
Yeah.
Culminating in this beast of a breakdown that just comes and just hits you right in the fucking mouth.
Yep.
And then when you think it's about to end there, it's almost kind of a false ending. boom, it goes into this nice groovy part, cool solo, then it bookends that opening part, which was so catchy, and then throws that dissonant lead over it.
This whole record is really good for that. The song structure of this album, they've definitely popped it up as far as song structure is concerned, because they're all like that.
Yeah.
All these songs where you think it could end and then it doesn't, and then they throw in another part and another part. It almost makes it a little bit like prog, but not really. Just at the times where the parts come together.
Yep.
So
I think they matured as songwriters a bit here. Splashes of melody, but they didn't want to overuse it too much. They still want to keep that raw death metal sound, and they still 100% have that.
And for being a band as young as they are, because these dudes are considerably younger than the both of us, I think. But I mean, these dudes are so young, and to have that kind of sound come out of such a young band, you can hear other bands.
Oh, yeah.
Old school death metal is
Yeah.
very prevalent in this band, and not that that's the only genre. But again, to be in what I'm guessing is your early 20s,
You guys are on
props
a
on
great
that
roll.
forefront.
Another track I really liked in here was Heat Death, which is the album's closer. It starts off as more of an instrumental, and it kind of reminded me personally of Death, Circa Human, or Spiritual Healing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the vocals kick in, and it brings in a real death doomy part. Like, it kind of slows it down. It's probably the most mid-tempo to slow song on here, but only for a part of it. And once again, another little bit of style thrown in there that made the song stand out.
Yeah.
All these songs are super memorable.
I mean, there's only 7 of them.
Yeah.
Which makes it really hard to pick a favorite track. It's tough to pick out of such a small selection. But then again, all the songs kick ass too. So it's not like.
And most of them range like close to that 6-minute mark, minus an interlude.
Which is another thing I like about Tomb Mold. Most death metal bands don't have songs longer than. I mean, unless you're playing tech death. Most death metal bands or Death Doom don't have a song over like 3.5, 4 minutes. But Tomb Mold does really good for making 7 songs and having the record be 41 minutes or something like that.
About 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Great use of space. They didn't really waste anything.
Yeah.
Now I do have some issues with the album. Namely, there are some production issues. I liked Manner of Infinite Forms, but there were parts of it I didn't like. I thought there was too much reverb in the vocals, and some of it sounded a little too muddy. This one strips away some of the muddiness. Mm-hmm. The vocals are actually much clearer. There's not as much reverb on the vocals, but they sacrificed a solid punch to the kick drum, which kind of drives me nuts because I drive around, listen to music, and I need a good punch to that kick drum.
Yeah, me too. We both have really nice stereos in our car.
That's where I listen to most music.
Shit, yeah, me too. It's where I listen to pretty much every album that we review. I jam in the car, and I agree. I think the kick drum could have used a little bit just more pound to it.
Yeah.
Not that the drums weren't good. The snare drum sounded excellent.
Snare drum sounded excellent. I mean, I thought everything else sounded excellent, like the guitar tone. The bass could have come up a little bit in the mix, but the kick drum kind of bothered me. And then I thought the interlude, granted I liked it, came too soon in the album. I think it should have been more towards the back, even just before the final track.
Maybe like in between 6 and 7.
So like a little bit of a pacing issue. I don't like seeing an intro come too soon, but I did think it was nice. And the production issues are minor.
In my opinion, even though they're, like he said, because mine's also with the kick drum, I'm a drummer, so, But, I mean, even then, it's not, in my opinion, even the production is not a great enough complaint to make this record that much lower on the totem pole.
Yeah.
Like, it was an issue, but it's not an issue that says, hey, fuck this.
So as for a rating, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. Love the album. I don't think it's quite perfect, so I'm not going to throw out the 5-star review. I've only done one of those. This is one of my favorite releases this year so far. Definitely year-end material, and I love it. It's a fucking fine match to fucking Manner of Infinite Forms. Great fucking album once again. Tomb Mold fucking rules.
I've been arguing with this ever since I figured out what I was going to do for a rating. Do you remember what you gave 5 stars to?
Devin Townsend.
Right on. I'm going to give this one 5 stars. Here's my thing. My complaints for this record don't justify giving anything less than 5. This record kicks ass. It's been in my car. I've listened to this record every single day and multiple times at that since it came out, and I just love it. I love the album.
It's a great fucking album.
This is my second 5-star. I think my other one was Ultimus.
Ultimus, yep.
So this is gonna be definitely on my top year-end albums. Anybody from Tomb Mold watches this, guys, keep it fucking coming, for real. It was a great job. Great to see you guys live, and that's all I've got. So.
Yeah. So, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, sub. We do shit like this all the time.
All the time.
Catch you guys later.
Later.